What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode number 59 of the Anthony John Amix podcast. This is another Sunday sermon edition, and today's episode, we're going to mix it up. We're going to be doing something I've never done before ever in the history of this podcast, or really ever in the history of my coaching career. If you know of my background, then you know I spent nearly a decade of my life involved in the music industry. I was in a band called Trade Cities, and we were like this 5-piece progressive Christian rock and roll band. Now, we weren't like this preachy, like Christian band by any means. Like, we're just all about writing positive music about life in general. We had a 38-foot tour bus. We had offers from 2 different record labels and radio play in the Dallas market. And over the years, many people have asked me, like, where can they listen to the music from the only EP that we ever created? And time again, I've had to tell them, like, there really isn't a place, because we were just like slinging CDs before the days of iTunes or Spotify or anything like that. So I thought in this episode I'd share 3 lessons I learned during my music career that have given me an edge in this game as a coach and course creator, and even play you one of our songs for you to listen to as well. There have been a few times when I'm with a client during an intensive and I just, for whatever reason, feel led to play them a track or two off our Love and Light EP, and the songs just seem to move their spirit. And to this day, when I listen to the EP, it's a record that I'm still very, very proud of, and the songs still, like, sometimes just give me chills. So if you're down to learn 3 lessons that I feel have given me an edge and listen to an epic track from one of my from my music career, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Anthony John Amix podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amix. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are, so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show. All right, welcome back. If you're here listening to this podcast, it's safe to say that you're all about taking your life and business to the next level. Am I right? Well, here's the cool part. Not only can you listen to all of this information every single week, but you can schedule a breakthrough call with me as well. Every single week, I carve out a few spots to talk with amazing established coaches and course creators and consultants who feel like they're stalled out in their life and business. And during our talk together, I help them uncover what's actually keeping them from creating the life and business that they desire. And by the end of that call, we have a game plan for getting them a breakthrough and smashing through the next targets of expansion for them. And if that involves my help, fantastic. We'll talk about what that would look like. If it doesn't require my help, that's no problem. I'll connect them with a resource that I feel would really serve them. So if you're at a place where you're ready to unlock a whole new level of freedom, purpose, and success in your life and business, then head on over to talkwithaj.com to schedule a time to talk with me. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the lessons I've learned from my music career, and I'll even play you one of the songs as well. Now, there were so many lessons I learned from music that are relevant to building a profitable business as a coach and course creator. And the first lesson I want to share with you is this: your offline confidence better match your online presence. Now, here's what I mean by that. In the music game, there were many, many times where we'd be playing with bands, and before the show, like, I would do my homework. I wanted to know who we'd be playing with, what they sounded like, and I wanted to know, like, if they were good. Like, I'm competitive. What can I say? And many times I just like listen to their songs on MySpace at the time. It's kind of crazy to say out loud. And I'd think to myself, like, whoa, these dudes are really good. It's going to be tough to open for these guys, or it's going to be tough to follow these dudes. And then, like, it would be like showtime and the show would start and I'd watch the band live. And the way that they sounded live was completely different than what they sounded like on MySpace. Like, they were loose. They didn't have an amazing stage presence. It was just like some dude standing on stage playing some songs. And honestly, it was a letdown. You see, prior to hearing them live, like, I listened to the music that they recorded, and it was really good. I looked at their band photos, and they were super cool. And based upon their online presence at the time, like, you would think, like, dude, these guys are going to be amazing. But here's the thing. I see so many coaches and course creators who buy into the whole online celebrity positioning thing, which, by the way, can be a great tactic for building your brand. But here's the thing. Just like in the game of music, if you package and position yourself to be a rock star, you better be able to deliver the moment that you step on that stage. Like, you better be able to show up with that confidence and certainty on your Facebook Live, on your virtual summit, on your podcast or YouTube or whatever it is that you're doing. Because if you don't, you just lose out on all credibility. Now, people say, like, fake it until you make it. I'm here to tell you, be willing to make a decision in your mind that you are amazing at what you do, and to put in the work to ensure that you stand heads and shoulders above those in your industry. Not from a place where you feel like you need to prove or defend your gifts and your genius to the world, but rather because you know at your core of core how amazing you are and how much impact that you have to give to the world. So the first lesson I want you to understand is your offline confidence better match your online presence. Now, the second lesson I learned that I want to share with you is ignorance on fire trumps intelligence on ice. When I was doing music, I was in my early 20s. In fact, we played our last professional gig for a radio station in October of 2009. I was 24 years old at the time. The only reason we got radio play was because I saw the opportunity and I asked for it. Like in my early 20s, I was like straight up pure ignorance on fire. I didn't know any better. I didn't know the rules of the game. I didn't know the proper etiquette. I just had a vision, and I wasn't going to let anything stand in my way. I remember exactly how we got radio play. We were playing a show with Spoken and Project 86 at a small church in Texas somewhere. I wish I could remember the city, but I don't. And we were the opening band for that show. And when we were doing sound check, I noticed in the back of the venue, like there was just like this banner on it, and it said 89.7 Power FM. And I knew that was a radio station that played Christian rock music. Like that was the genre that they played. And so after we killed our performances, after we sold CDs and t-shirts and all the merch and stuff, the other guys in my band, like they went outside to goof off, because that's pretty much what you do when you're in a band. You drive, you write music, you play music, you goof off, and you drive. And you drive, like a lot, mostly driving. And I always used to joke that being a musician was more like being a truck driver who plays a few shows here and there. But let me get back to the point. While the guys were outside goofing off, I was the only person who walked up to that radio booth. And I remember this so clearly. I introduced myself and I asked the guy what his name was, and he said email. And I was like, what? Coming in? Did I hear you right? Did you say email? And the dude was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And he said, hey, you were with the opening band, right? Like normally the opening band sucks, but you guys were really good. And I was like, thanks, man. And then I asked a single question. I said, how can I get our songs on your radio station? Like I just asked the question from a very core place of genuine curiosity. And email responded and said, well, I'm not the guy who can help you with that, but Drew Mitchell is, and here's his email address, and just email him and tell him that I told you to email him. So the next day I did exactly that. I sent our press kit over to Drew, and for a whole month I heard nothing back. So then 30 days later I sent another email over to Drew, and this time he was like, boom, dude, sorry, I've been swapped. Let's do this thing. And boom, just like that, like we had our first live remote booked with the radio station, and our song Messages would be played on the radio for the very first time. Now, I'll tell you, I don't know if there's any other feeling than the feeling you feel listening to your very own song being played on the radio. I remember that day so clearly. All 5 of us and our girlfriends were crammed into a little blue Chevy Aveo. We're sitting in the parking lot of United Methodist Church in Maybank, Texas. It was nighttime outside. We just finished our rehearsals for that evening, and we knew on that Sunday that our song was going to be played, and so we tuned into the radio, and lo and behold, here came the swooshing sounds of the cymbals. In fact, I'll play that song for you now.
Drip on the crowds below who are so receptive. Everyone's talking about you and how you let them down. Is this my home forever? silence is not the beat that changes anything. So I pray your light beats out of my chest, 'cause I know
So there you have it, my friend. That was our radio single called Messages. I just to this day, I love that solo that Jonathan Cannon wrote. It's so good. I love the piano that's in the song that Travis White wrote, the lyrics, everything about that song I still love, even the woes at the end. That was a fun song to record. It was certainly a fun song to play. Now, the thing is that I want to anchor for you here is the only reason that song saw radio play was because I asked for it. As I've gotten older, I sometimes forget this lesson. I get too caught up in how I believe things should be or shouldn't be. I get too caught up in what if they think I'm too forward, or what if I do it wrong. And when I do this, I realize I'm stuck in my head. I'm totally being intelligence on ice. I'm not just operating with passion and fervor. And the thing is when we're stuck in our head, that type of behavior typically yields very, very little or limited results. So understand, lesson number 2 from a music career is this: ignorance on fire always trumps intelligence on ice. Now, the third and final lesson that I want to share with you today from a music career is this: if you're willing to be on the stage and have the spotlight on you, you're already 90% ahead of the rest of the people. Now, here's the thing. Many people write songs, they play them in their garage or their room or whatever, but they never really step on the stage and play them in front of people. And the thing is those who are willing to have the courage to step foot on that stage and play their songs for the world to hear, those are the people who get their songs heard. And those who stay with it, those who keep getting better and better and better at their craft, are the ones who create a music career for themselves. Now, this is what ultimately allowed us to get to a point where we received offers from 2 different record labels. We just put in the work and we just kept getting better and better and better. And I remember one of the first shows that we played, it was for a senior class in high school. It was for senior assembly. There was 1,200 people there. We had been rehearsing the 2 songs that we wrote for months. I had visualized the crowd's reaction. I had visualized us playing the songs in front of everybody. And regardless of how much time we put into rehearsal and visualization, when it was time for us to actually play the songs in front of everyone, I was so nervous. Yet the thing was I was more committed to my vision of playing this song in front of everyone than to my fears. And the crazy thing was people just thought the song was great. In fact, one of the ladies filming the senior assembly, she told us that we needed to get a manager because it was we were really good. And looking back, every single show that we ever played for the entire 7 years we started playing, and the 3 years before that of working in the garage, regardless of how bad that I thought our performances were, there was always at least one person who said their performance changed their lives. And I think about this lesson often and how it applies to this game as a coach or a course creator. Every single Facebook Live, every single Facebook post or Instagram story or podcast or YouTube video or conference we speak at, it's similar to this. so many people, they get caught up trying to do it perfectly that they miss out on this lesson. Like if we're just willing to get on the stage and let the spotlight be on you, you're already 90% ahead of most people. You know, in most of my podcasts, it seems like I'm always preaching about commitment and consistency, yet the truth is with those two things, you really can make your vision a reality. Please never forget this simple truth. So understand the third and final lesson I want to share with you today is if you're willing to be on the stage and to have the spotlight on you, you're already 90% ahead of the rest of the people. So there you have it, my friend, the 3 lessons from my music career that I really believe that will help you like have an edge in the game as a coach or course creator or even in any other business. And so just want to recap this for you quickly. Lesson number 1, your offline confidence better match your online presence. Lesson number 2, ignorance on fire always trumps intelligence on ice. And lesson number 3, if you're willing to be on the stage and have the spotlight on you, you're already 90% ahead of the rest of the people. I know if you remember and implement these 3 lessons, you're going to be able to build a highly profitable online business as a coach or course creator or whatever other business that you're working to create. Now today, I really don't have an invitation for you on the Sunday sermon. I just hope these 3 lessons have inspired you to continue on your journey to creating the income and the impact and the influence that your heart is calling you to. If you've enjoyed this episode and it inspired you in some way, I'd love to hear about it and know like what was your biggest takeaway. Simply take a screenshot of you listening on your device, post it to your Instagram stories, and simply tag me at AJ Amix on Instagram. It's just at AJ Amix. So thank you so much for being here. Until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amix podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamix.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.